Top five. Top five. Top five.
Top five, top five, top five. Kyle and I are giving you our top five power rankings. Also, Kyle, I think maybe in the future, maybe not this episode, but we should also give our bottom five, bottom five, bottom five.
Oh,
Maybe, kind of
feelings are gonna get hurt.
feelings will get hurt, but to be honest, if you know me, I don't give a shit. Let's go into our top five, top five, top five. Kyle, I think you started off last week, so I will start off this week at number five. For me, making their first appearance this year on our top five, top five, top five. I've got the Detroit Lions making their appearance on top five after I said they were going to go on a tear. They beat the Packers on Thursday Night Football. They pretty much destroyed the Panthers during week 5. The Lions are going on a tear. I think they're staying on the top 5 for the rest of the season. Number 5 for me is Lions.
Respect it. Number 5, I got the Chiefs. The Chiefs I had like on the fringe of getting in, but they're just kind of quietly winning their football games. They went into Minnesota and got a win. They beat the Jets in an ugly win, but it's important to be able to have an ugly game and still win. That's a sign that, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the best in the NFL, so he's got this team in my top 5.
I love how you said Patrick Mahomes is the best in the NFL, so I guess,
You can't be like, oh, he's the best quarterback of all time. He's not in my top 5. Yeah. Number
right.
5.
And I've got the Chiefs actually at 4, just because of their, what they've done throughout the season. I wanted to bring them down a little bit more, but I was like, you know what? The Lions are making an appearance here. I think the Chiefs are still better than the Lions. In terms of, longevity, what they've done in the past season. But even now, I still think they're number 4 in my top 5, top 5, top 5. Kyle, who do you have at number 4?
I got the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh.
I know the Bills are coming off a loss, but I think it's the time zone thing, man. I'm really not going to read into it too much. One team didn't have to, reset their circadian rhythm in 20 hours. And they still played a close game. Like, Stephon Diggs had a big game. This Buffalo team is going to be a really difficult team to play week in and week out. They come in at number 4, just a little bit better than the Chiefs. And that is my last AFC team in the top 5. Surprising.
Oh, wow. I love it. All right, for number 3, for me, coming in at number 3, again, making their first appearance, I think, at least from my top 5, I've got the Dolphins at number 3. They come off a loss against Buffalo, and then they absolutely devour the Giants. They take advantage of that shitty offensive line. They take advantage of the Giants just being a bad team, and they do exactly what you need to do to bad teams, man. You beat them by 2 score. They put up 31. I thought they would put up at least 35, but they still put up 30 points. They do exactly what they need to do to bad teams, and that's why I get the Dolphins are at number 3. It's going to be a back and forth, though, I think, with the Dolphins. It's going to be tough for them to stay in my top 5, I think, as far as an AFC team.
Yeah, definitely. Number 3, I got the Detroit Lions.
Woo!
Coming in. It's time to just give this team their flowers. They're a powerhouse. They're dominant on defense. They are physical up front. They have one of the best O-lines in the NFL. They have a quarterback playing at a top 10 level now for his second year straight, maybe top 5 if you really break down the stats and look at it and get out of your head that Jared Goff is average. You might even see that he might be top 5 right now. Well, the Detroit Lions are top 5 right now for sure. And Dan Campbell's got this team playing really competitive. They look like they're having fun. Aiden Hutchinson looks like one of the best defensive players in the NFL. This Detroit team looks like they're made of the stuff that it takes to go to the Super Bowl. It's in their DNA. They have it. They could be like the Bengals 2 years ago. This is this might be the last couple of weeks we get away with this being a hot take. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I get it. Lions making their first appearance in our top 5 in the last season and a half. I love it. I love it. The Lions are coming up. Number 2 for me, and I think it might be number 2 for you. I've got the Philadelphia Eagles at number 2. Yep. So we both got the Eagles at number 2. They just beat the Rams. They're still 5-0. I think you have to respect the 5-0. No matter how not as dominant they are as they were last year, they're 5-0, man. They're NFC champion. You know, they're reigning NFC champs. You got to give them their flowers too for continuing this domination. The Eagles soon might be something like the Chiefs have been the last few years, where we're so bored of the Eagles being so good that we just say, yeah, the Eagles are good, so they're in my top 5, and yeah, you know what I mean? So
I am willing to adjust the Eagles to number 1. It's not like, oh, there's nothing the Eagles can do.
Yeah.
I do respect the Eagles, but they are going through those kind of growing pains right now. But once we get into November, if things are really rolling, it's going to be really difficult to, put one at, unless the 49ers lose a couple of games. It's going to be real hard. I think the 49ers could easily go 16-1. And that one loss may be because they benched their starters week 18.
So,
because Kyle Shanahan doesn't give a shit about that.
That's true. So, at number 1, let's say it at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Broncos.
49.
They're the best team in the NFL, and I don't care who tells you otherwise. Russell Wilson is number 1 in the NFL in touchdown to interception ratio. They got 300.
So the 49ers are the number 1 team for both Kyle and I, and it's just how dominating they've been. Again, they beat the Cowboys convincingly. I don't know what that says.
49ers, number 1. Eagle. You don't see my list? 49ers, Eagles.
49ers, Eagles, Detroit, Buffalo, Chiefs. I love it. 49ers are number 1.
Just so you know, I wasn't copying your answers because we had the same.
Yeah, sure. All right. Anyway, 49ers beat the brakes off the fucking Cowboys. They've beaten the brakes off all the teams they've played. Easy number 1. The only other 5-0 team outside of the Eagles that are worth a damn. Probably because they are the only other team that are 5-0 outside of the Eagles. So, number 1, Brock Purdy looks like a stud. CMC is still a stud. George Kittle is the top tight end in the NFL. This defense is amazing. Kyle, did I miss something? Kyle?
Brock Purdy's good looking, and his dad goes to all of his games, and that's his secret recipe.
And he has a roommate, even though he makes almost $1 million a year. But yeah, whatever.
Does he really have a roommate?
He does. What the
he's
fuck
like,
kind of shit is that?
He's like, remember in Grandpa's Boy where he's like, did you tell your roommates I was coming? And he's like, you mean your parents? He's like, keep it down. I told my roommates you'd be here. You mean your parents?
You mean your parents?
Yeah, whatever. Same thing.
I love it. Yeah, man. He has a roommate and he's somehow engaged, but he's living in San Francisco off $800,000+ a year and still needs a roommate. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I wish I
had those problems.
I saw a random Twitter video of him like driving like just in the streets of California in like a pickup truck. And like someone zooms in and you can see him in the rear view in his mirror. And you can see him just a normal guy with a quiet, like his truck wasn't like with rims or anything. And I'm like, dude, I could never. I would have a Rolls Royce day one.
Dude, I'd be balling the fuck out. But hey, that's just me. I come from poverty, so I get it.
Yeah. I got you.
Well, that was our top five.
Top 5, no debating. Top 5.